This is the Kia Stinger 330S. No, it's not the GT, but instead, this is the cheapest way to get that fabled V6 twin turbocharged petrol motor that the Stinger is known for. Now, I'm gonna tell you why you should not be spending $100,000 on a powerful GT car. Instead, why you should consider getting a Kia Stinger for yourself. Hey you, I noticed you're not subscribed, but if you are, thank you so much. But if you're not, make sure you hit subscribe because you're missing out on a ton of upcoming reviews that are coming from us here at Product Review Cars. We're just getting started, so make sure you don't miss out. Hit that big red button and the notification bell so you don't miss an upload from your favorite Aussie car reviewer. So if you want to get into a Kia Stinger, don't care what engine you get, you're gonna have to pay $54,090 to start off with. If you want a 330S, which is this one here, as you see it, because this one has no options fitted, you're gonna expect to pay $57,890 drive away. Now, if you ask me, that's a pretty good performance bargain for the amount of space you're getting and getting a sedan that can do 0 to 100 in less than 5 seconds. Now the Kia Stinger is a good looking car because it's very aggressive and it matches its performance. So part of these design elements which help with this aggressive design, yes, are the fake bonnet vents, which are faker than the tooth fairy up there, but that's okay because Kia makes up for it a little bit later. We've got some darkened chrome elements, we've got an aggressive bumper, some nice LED lights and LED turn indicators, which all look very upmarket, and real air vents here on the side, which help move air from the front down past these 18-inch alloy wheels with these big Brembo brakes inside, helping cool everything down in there and smoothing out airflow to this real vent, which I actually thought was fake. As you've probably seen, we've got some automatic folding mirrors, we've got central locking, some nice sculpting here on the side and cool side skirts and some chrome pieces here and there, which help sort of lift the exterior, make it a little bit interesting to look at. And then we move along the side and you can sort of see the resemblance of an A5 Sportback. However, Kia's done a better job of beefing up that profile with these side skirts and lower bumpers. It does look a bit beefier and a bit meaner back here. All right, so the back of the Kia Stinger does look really good. And apart from some other people's opinions, I think this is the best looking angle of the 2021 update because you get to see these massive quad tailpipes that they put on here rather than the modest ones they used to run on the older Kia Stinger. And yes, there's 4 real pipes inside those and they're not too small either, unlike some German brands which like to divide 2 pipes into 4. Kia's not fooling you here. You get 4 pipes for the 4 exits that you see here. There's a bit of a small diffuser down here, but who knows how much it actually does. You've got a nice light bar running across the back, very Porsche-esque, and overall a very nice rear end. Excuse that, but it is a good looking car from the back, and you do have a nice little spoiler here which sort of adds that sporty look. Okay, so the inside of the Kia Stinger is undeniably gorgeous. It's really nice in here. And starting off with this 10.25-inch touchscreen, it's got a really cool UI with these like neon icons. And yes, you can use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto by plugging in. Plenty of charging points down here. Yes, you have hard buttons to quickly access navigation. You even have a customizable button so you can do what you want with that. But what is cool in here is the fact that you can access nature sounds. So if you're feeling very stressed for some reason, you can shortcut to this mode button on the steering wheel to quickly access these. You can play nature sounds, or you can go to an open air cafe, or you can be near a warm fireplace. I think that's a really cool feature and more cars should have that, but could be a bit worrying if you fall asleep on a long drive with this playing. So just be careful when you want to play because it will set you to sleep. Leather everywhere in here, and even on the key, which I need to talk about because this looks really nice. There's leather stitching on it and it looks like it's built like a detonator, and I actually find myself using this more because it feels so nice to use than I do with the keyless entry. You have push button start, and like I mentioned, leather on the dash, on the top of the dash with some stitching up here. You've also got some center console leather. Beautiful leather seats, very comfortable, great bolstering, great seating position, and very soft headrests. Now, Kia is going to do some cost cutting in here because they have to, because it can't compete with the price if it's going to use materials that are going to cost a lot of money because the consumer has to pay for that at the end of the day. So there are cheaper items like these stalks here, a little bit chintzy, and you've also got some cheaper materials down on the bottom of the door and underneath the dash. It's all a bit harder plastics, but they are going to be the things that are going to stand the test of time, and they're in places that you're never going to really touch. So the fact that you have leather in all the places like the gear shifter and, you know, nice softer plastics on these buttons here for the drive mode and whatnot, everything feels gorgeous. And even more obviously is where they've done it is here on the steering wheel, because there's hard plastics very much like the Kia Picanto here in the middle, but you're never really touching that. All you're touching is this beautiful leather exterior, which you know, that's all that matters. So I think Kia's done a really good job and are very considerate on where they've used these cheaper materials. Now, it's all nice on the front here, but in the back seats is where it gets even more interesting. So in the back seats of the Kia Stinger, it is still really nice back here, and I almost prefer being in the back seats because as someone who's 5'11", this is my sitting position. I have plenty of knee room here, and also my feet are okay, but if I want to put them underneath the seat, they are pretty tight underneath the seat. And that's because these front seats sit a little bit lower than the back seats because it allows for the back passengers to have a nice view out the front as well as the sides. So nice touch that these are a little bit higher, and nice attention to detail, and very Porsche Panamera-like if you ask me. Now you've got netted cargo nets behind the seats and some tougher plastic so kids aren't gonna absolutely ruin these beautiful leather seats. And yes, some storage on the side, enough for like a small water bottle. And you've got USBs back here and a 12 volt or 180 watt cigarette lighter here. There's a third zone for climate control, which you can roll to be hotter or colder. And you have a nice soft armrest here. Now, how's my headroom? Yeah, it's okay. Like I said, 5'11". It's not gonna be ample for anyone above that, I think. I'm just scraping in with my head. If I wanna rest my head on the back of this nice soft headrest, which is so nice to put your head back on. It's probably one of the best headrests I've had around this price point, but it is gonna be a bit of an issue if you're over 6 foot with this sloping roofline. Now you can put a middle person in here. Transmission tunnel is going to prove to be a big issue for people who need to have more feet room. Yeah, you can sort of squeeze these side people off to the side with their feet, but yeah, it's not too comfortable to have a third person here in the middle. You have ISOFIX points for kids seats if you need, and you have a 60-40 split configuration for the folding seats, which have top tether points mounted to the back of them. Now you have 406 liters of cargo space with all the seats folded up, which is pretty decent. But if you want to fold all the seats down, then you get 1,114 liters of cargo space, which is pretty good. And especially with that hatchback, you can load big items in. But what you are constrained with is this sloping roof line, which will stop taller items being able to put all the way through. And also you do have a bit of a slope up on these seats, so they're not entirely flat. So it's going to sort of encroach on that cargo space that is here. So plenty of usable space for a sporty four-door sedan like this one. So Kia reckons that on the highway you'll be drinking up to 7.5 litres per 100 Ks, and in the city as high as to 14.9 litres per 100 Ks. What have I been averaging while driving? Well, probably the wrong person to ask because this is an absolute fun car to drive, and I sort of put fuel to the back of my head when I'm having this much fun in a car. However, I have been averaging about 12.7 litres per 100 Ks, so not bad at all. It's a pretty decent run, and it's a bit of highway driving, a fair bit of city driving, so it's all right. But yeah, you're definitely going to notice that fuel needle spin down a bit faster than some economical alternatives, but that's not what this car is about. This car is an absolute gem of a GT car because it's safe, but it's also got plenty of performance behind it. And so let's start with the safety features because that's what you sort of want to know about too. So you've got autonomous emergency braking, which works really well. You've got lane keep assist, which will beep at you if you cross lanes. And then you've also got active lane keep assist, which actually steers you in the lane. Now it does ping pong a little bit in the lane, which is a little bit annoying, and I don't really like relying on it, but it does take the effort out of long cruises when you're just trying to cruise along the highway and enjoy yourself rather than having to worry about steering, or even, you know, with radar cruise control, which is a one-touch operation. You just press the cruise control button. It's a very relaxing car to drive over long distances, that is for sure. Now, the Kia Stinger was developed on the same track that the Hyundai i30N and all the end products from Hyundai were developed on, because it's the sister company to this. We all know that fabled German ring. And so there are a couple of different drive modes to help make the Kia Stinger sort of become a multi-purpose Swiss Army knife GT car. So right now what we're driving in is Smart Mode. So Smart Mode is a mode which sort of cycles through all the different eco modes and every sort of sport mode as well, making sure that depending on your driving style, it will put you in the right mode. Now, what we have after that is, yes, like I mentioned, eco mode. I don't know why you'd be wanting to drive in this. Now, after that, we have comfort mode, which sort of just makes for a more relaxing ride. Now, after comfort is the mode we're going to focus on for the most part, which is sport mode. Sport mode is the most interesting mode, and it's a more instant response, tightens up the throttle, and it also, it makes this ride feel a lot more stiff as well. You can knock this into manual mode by using the paddles, which are actually alright from the 8-speed automatic transmission. and sort of just cruising first, you can get up to speed ridiculously easy. It's just an absolute monster. So what are we working with? We're working with a V6 twin turbocharged petrol motor, like I mentioned at the start. This one puts out 274 kilowatts and 510 newton meters of torque, which is pretty decent specs. That is definitely, as just below the 400 horsepower golden power output that so many people seem to deem is a pretty good output to have. You now have a bimodal exhaust with the Kia Stinger, as you can hear right now. And that's standard on all the V6 models. So it is a pretty fun car to drive when you have in sport mode, because you have extra struts up the front which make the front a lot more stiffer, and you've also got rear wheel drive. So it makes going through corners just so much more interesting and more engaging, and especially when you start to give it some, you really get some of that old school rear wheel drive charm back from the Stinger. And of course, when you have sport mode, you have launch control. So let's get set up for that. So launch control, here's the process. You come to a complete stop, you turn the car completely off traction control. So you're gonna have to hold that for a little while, and then it will say traction control and ESC disabled, and then it's as simple as having the car in sports mode, and foot on the brake, half down on the gas, launch control ready. And that's launch control. That's 0 to 104.9 seconds, and it so feels like it can do that. It is blisteringly fast, and it's all that torque once you start get going, and those twin turbos do a remarkable job of being ultra responsive to that sort of launch, and it makes setting up for the lights, even without launch control, a lot more interesting than, say, being in any other car, because this is an absolute ride to drive. So the Kia Stinger through corners is absolutely incredible. You stay remarkably flat, and the only downside really are these tires. So you have Continental Conti Sports fitted to this thing, and yeah, sure, they do a good enough job, but as you saw on the launch control and through some corners where you can feel it, they don't really grip as hard as I'd like. That's where the GT comes in, because that comes with Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, which are a lot more stickier than the set we have on here. So just how practical is the Kia Stinger day to day? Well, it's really easy, because it's got a great turning circle, even though it's low and long. It's pretty decent. I did miss my turning circle on the Picanto, but jumping to this, I was pleasantly surprised how easy it was to just be able to turn on tight streets. It's actually really good. Getting into driveways, it does have a lower front splitter, which is, yes, a bit concerning, and you do have to watch out for it, but you don't have to do massive maneuvers to clear sharper speed bumps or driveways. You do a pretty okay job getting in and out of those. And as for parking, it's actually surprisingly easy, even though it's pretty long. It's got a great turning circle, so it's actually really easy to reverse park. So what's cool is that the radar cruise control function that we talked about and the lane keep assist doesn't just work on the highway, it also works in traffic like this. So what you do is you have auto hold on, is what I like to do, so it means the car won't roll anywhere when you take it off the gas. And then we're in slow moving traffic, you set the cruise control, set it to level 1, and what's going to happen now is we're pulling up behind a car, and it's really gentle with the brake and the accelerator. It's awesome, and it's actually something that passengers don't realize you haven't been driving with your feet at all until you say you haven't, or unless someone brakes really hard in front of you. So I'm currently not touching the brakes, the accelerator, and I've got auto steer on and lane keep assist. So here we go, car's moving off. The Kia lets me know that the car in front is moving off in case I'm distracted, and then we get going again. And so I've only really set the top speed to 30 kilometers an hour because we're sort of in city peak hour traffic, but it also won't sort of stop for an intersection. That's another thing I just picked up just now. You want to be careful of that, otherwise you might get stuck halfway across an intersection. But once you get going again, it's really easy to just use this feature in bumper to bumper traffic, and yeah, it's really relaxing. Oh, all right. This is an amazing car. I haven't had more fun with a four-door saloon like this in a long time. This is honestly one of the best value performance cars you can buy. I don't know why you'd be going out and checking out BMW and Mercedes and at the similar price, because at those similar prices, they've got 4 cylinders, they're running very low torque numbers compared to this, very low horsepower numbers compared to this, and honestly, the space in this is very generous. So I think if you're looking for a performance car that does serious figures like this one, like 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds, as you saw, has launch control, is really comfortable on the highway and can fit a huge amount of stuff here. Excuse the cows, they are there for decoration. This is the car to buy. If you can get past this badge, I applaud you, because you've rewarded yourself with a really good driver's car and a really good performance car and a really good family car. This thing is all those things packaged into this. However, Kia, like all these new brands trying to go upmarket like Hyundai and all that, have to battle with people being disassociated with this badge. So if you can push past this and get past those brand loyalists who will defend their brands to the ends of the earth, this is the car to get. And so that's been the 2021 Kia Stinger 330S. So make sure you subscribe, leave a like if you like the Kia like I do, because I really like this car. If you have an alternative to the Kia Stinger 330S, let me know in the comments below, because I'd definitely be interested in hearing those. Make sure you also hit that notification bell, because you don't want to miss out on a review that comes out pretty much every Friday from us on a variety of cars. So make sure you are subscribed and keeping up to date with what we're doing. So thank you so much for watching. My name's Cameron. You've just watched a ProductReview.com.au in-depth look. I'll see you in the next one.